is as though the ode to work has been written all over again. The scene of work and order is depicted in the dawn and repeated in the setting of the sun. The machines keep swallowing and providing. The massive and varied supply is aimed at tempting a discerning palate, which will always recognize fish from the length and breadth of the Adriatic.
A little more than 100 years has passed from a barrel of salted fish to a factory for the 21st century.
These facilities, built so that the wishes of today can be turned into the habits of tomorrow, the only right withheld is the right to fatigue. The machines are never still, folk do not get weary, for the 36 million tins of the plenty offered by the Adriatic are to sail once again. This time they are to reach the most hidden corners of a mountain chain, unknown to the inhabitants of Pospera, or some foreign destination where the products of Brač are offered only to those with more discerning, selective tastes. Here, those into statistics are already fighting a losing battle. Their intention to try and establish the amount of fish to be processed, the number of hungry mouths which will be fed, will undoubtedly come to nothing. If the statisticians are losing it, the experts in the field of basic physics are not faring any better. The machines grow weary faster than people's hands. Come to that, this has always been the case. Sardines, mackerel, tuna, hake, and again for 100th time. The islands, reefs and rocks are like grains of unpolished stone imbued with the morning frost, with gusts of sage and sun rays that scorch in summer but heal and caress like velvet on a winter's day. Their number, which a diligent but invisible plougher has strewn along the Croatian side of the Adriatic, could be argued about. The learned books record 1,185 of them. Among the many, fertile and barren, bare and green, rocky and mellow, there is one, the first and unique, the island of Brač. Brač is an island which is sensed and guides through fragrances, walking across the sparse and parched fallows of Vidovogora, where time flows without paying heed to a calendar, offering images of the long gone, now perhaps even mythical island shepherds. Or through Blace, a space the silence of which thunders, its life rock-bound, telling us the story of man, and through it telling us who we are, where we come from, and where we are to go. The old, dilapidated houses and walls of the island, the hard stone which protects from the sun and people, speak of a quiet history which runs through the channel of time like a river that knows no waterfalls no whirlpools or floods, but is still replete with life, full of events, the quietness of which makes them all the more tragic. This truth is guarded and testified to by the early Christian basilica in Lovrecina, dating from the 6th century AD. Destroyed, built and added to several times, it quietly accepts its fate. The silence of a sunny day is broken only by a church bell or a morning prayer addressed to St. Lawrence, the patron saint. On an isle which has cocooned itself a number of times, living space is gained through a noble deed. As for Brač, an island as flat as the sea, but standing as tall as a mountain, it is not enough to go there. The peaceful coves of one's arrival will acknowledge only a permanent stay. Among the many settlements on the island, Postira is the only one that can wear coattails and take its top hat off when bowing. If loneliness is most acutely felt in a crowd, then the local fisherman and farm labourer, peasant and factory worker walked through life not wanting to share the fate of others, refusing to believe in the happy moments of distant departures. In a place first mentioned in the year 1337, life is not gambled on a single card. The rigidly built family framework prevented departure from both the village and the island, as much as the belief that staying and surviving can be ensured through one's own effort. The Postiran has tough roots, not easily pulled up, however much they are gouged, oppressed by poverty, or trampled on by unscrupulous thinking and ruling. This is why Sardina is a monument for all times, pride felt in something achieved, a reminder of something not destroyed. The yellow documents, written in handwriting, tell of 1,000 years of fishing among the Croats. Although this round number fills one with satisfaction, there is no doubt that the tradition of fishing along the eastern shores of the Adriatic reaches deep into prehistoric times. The waters of the eastern Adriatic have always been generous in providing food in bountiful quantities. Using different types of old traditional fishing nets and other tools and methods of fishing for any and all types of fish, Croats for centuries sailed along the shores of the islands and mainland, and they did not always settle for the gifts of the Croatian seas alone. Driven by the instinct of true fishermen, taking heed of the advice and experience of previous generations, they frequently left the boundaries of the Adriatic behind their stern, but never their desire for a quick return. At these latitudes too, far from the eyes of mere mortals, dreams are dreamt of the moles and folk of Brač, left back at home without the head of the family. In the middle of the Croatian Sea, the Jabuka Depression is an expanse which offers itself, but also family silver that is never sold. A tuna boat is tough to get on, and tougher still to stay on. Here, Nothing is ever still, everything is on the move, and there is no leave to be tired. Our queens of the sea, Sardine 1 and Sardine 2, speed on accompanied by the sturdy Preco. If need be, and the need is of a daily character, a powerful rear echelon in the form of Shime, Oliva and Yadran stands ready for action. We are, however, far from being the only ones here. There are tuna boats from our own, but also the Italian side of the Adriatic. In this vast expanse, in the moments when the possibility of a catch arises, when the air is vibrating with uncertainty and the blood boils, chaos is sometimes unavoidable. A plea for traffic lights, which would direct ships and silence people, has never been granted. Sometimes there is tuna, and sometimes there is not. We can only judge based on the appetite the end of the season is assessed by. Though frequently full, the mouth will always seek one more mouthful, which is why it is much easier to find a happy widow than a content fisherman. In these parts, even a lot is not enough. Even if the faces do not always show satisfaction, there is always a surplus of adrenaline. Nobody here is spared the fever. All eyes are riveted on the horizon. Everybody is looking to the sea to show them the familiar signs. This is the place which is expected to turn the imagined mathematics into reality. Everybody is praying, everybody is seeking, but the alert and the lucky ones, placing their trust in St. Nicholas the Traveller, get to find it.
Дуни слива, Васи! Туча до дуни, дуни у юга, Васи! Мола! Молано!
Sticking to the international custom and being themselves aware of the fact that any overfishing in the long run leads to poverty, the fishermen of Brač are satisfied with an annual catch of 150 tons of high-quality bluefin tuna, which accounts for 1/3 of the entire catch allowed to Croatia. Roles change in the firmly closed circle of the net and floats. The tuna now has to swim where the fisherman dictates. With a great deal of care and responsibility, the entire catch, confined to the cages, is then ferried 70 miles to the fish farm by the southern slopes of Brač. Here, in these coves, their weight is going to be trebled, a calculation which brings a smile to even the most morose. Farming of tuna is not the only thing that Posterans take pride in. Watchful of the preservation of nature, taking care not to cause any serious disturbance, they have set up as many cages in the coves of Maslinova, Smrka and Grška as there are first-grade pupils, and the method of farming fish is somewhat similar, from those that are but a few centimeters in length to those of a size and weight suitable for harvesting. Gilt-head and sea bass are of royal stock. Nobody denies them their primary position, a view that does not date from just yesterday and which will not last only until tomorrow. This is also confirmed by the continuous care, which is a rule that no one dares to violate. This job is done not only with care and diligence, but with genuine love, and that despite the fact that the final act is performed with a feeling of unease and a lump in the throat. Here, if the truth be known,